And now they're gone. And people turn, the 12, the 11, the new 11, turn to Peter and say, well, what do we do? And what does he say? Well, it's been a great 3 months. It's been a great 36 months. It's been, this last little while has been terrific, and all of it was pretty good. We saw great teachings. We saw wonderful miracles. We saw healings. There we were on the Mount of Beatitudes. We saw him walk on the water. Peter probably wasn't so bold as to say that he had actually for a moment or two, but they've got all those memories. And he says, wasn't it great? Wasn't it terrific? Let's go fishing. He didn't know what to do. It's over. He's gone. Maybe they thought somehow this was going to turn into this political Messiah too. Maybe good Orthodox Jews that they were once, and probably still are a little bit, maybe they thought, well, whatever we thought the Messiahship was, I guess it's going to be something else. Let's go fish. Let's go do the thing we know to do. That's what we were doing when he found us. So let's go. And they did. And they went back to Galilee and fished. And I guess life was going to go on. But something happened. It's early morning. They fished all night. They've caught nothing. You fish at night on the Sea of Galilee. They've caught nothing. Zero, zilch, nothing, nada. No fish. And in the distance, because the sight is quite clear on a lake and the sound is very good across the surface of the lake, they see a figure who's made a little fire and calls out to them and says, how's your fishing going? And they said, lousy. It's been terrible. You're going to have days like that. He said, it's been a disaster. We haven't got anything. And he said, well, cast your net over on the right side of the boat. And I'm sure there was somebody there who said, oh, well, now who is this? Who is this that's got such a cute idea about how to fish after we've been at it all night? And is going to tell us out here laboring as we are. There he is safely on the beach. We're out here in these boats. He's going to tell us how to, I don't know what they said that, but I'll bet somebody did. But reluctantly, and maybe out of desperation, needing a catch, they are, after all, now back to doing what they used to do, and if they're going to fish, they got to fish. They cast their net over the right side of the boat, and they can't pull the catch in. It starts to sink the ship. One of the miracles being that the nets didn't break. There were so many fish. They couldn't get the fish in the boat. And John said, it's him.
If you're feeling down, if you're feeling low, if you feel like moving slow, let me know.
And Peter, sweet Peter, who didn't know better than to say, let's do what we know how to do. Sweet Peter who cuts people's ears off and then they have to be put back on. And sweet, loyal, devoted Peter looked at John, heard what he said, looked at the shore, saw the master, and bailed over the edge of the boat and said, the rest of you can row if you want, I'm going in. And he just started going to shore. Well, they arrived. The Savior, in this marvelous act of courtesy, has fixed their breakfast. He's built a little fire and cooked and baked some fish, cooked some fish. Just a little passing thought about his magnificence. They're going to be hungry. They haven't had a good night, and I'm going to fix their breakfast. And they fall at his feet, and then Jesus starts this little interrogation, and with this I close. Peter, do you love me more than you love these fish in this net here, and these boats, and these oars? And Peter said, yes, I do love you more than these. And a second time, Jesus says, Peter, do you love me more than you love these fish and your nets and your battered old boat. And a little distressed at that, Peter said, yes, I do. I said I did. I do. And the Savior probably took a deep breath and smiled and looked Peter right in the eye. And though he didn't verbalize it, apparently he was conveying to Peter, may I now say to you for the third time, do you love me? And Peter is very, very sensitive about threes right now. And Jesus says, really in effect, okay, for the last time, do you love me more than these, than what you do, than what you've just been doing? And Peter says, I do. I do love you. More than anything. And that is the moment that Peter became the great apostle. Forget the denials, whatever they were. Forget the cut off ears. Forget the impetuousness. Forget the confusion. Forget not knowing more than to come back to fish. Right here, face to face, again from the honesty of his heart, he said, I do love you more than anything. And to that, the Savior of the world said, then feed my sheep. I have asked you before to leave your nets, and I'm asking you again, and I don't want to ask you a third time. When I said leave your nets, it was forever. When I asked you to follow me, it was forever. When I asked you to be an apostle, it was forever. When I asked you to be a missionary, it was forever. When I asked you to see this through to the end, it was because it's not over till it's over. Now forget your nets and forget the fish and jettison your boat and throw those oars away for the second time and feed my sheep. We're in this till the end. And that's the day Peter strode into eternity and became the man within hours, within days at the very least, when people pled that they could be taken into the street and left on their cot in hopes the shadow of Peter would pass over them. That's the Peter that he became with that little confrontation on the shore. And the issue is for all time and eternity, do you love me? Do you love me? Elders and sisters in this MTC congregation, do you love him? You cannot get there from here. You cannot be what you have to be. You cannot say what you have to say. You cannot become the missionaries, the witnesses, the emissaries, the bastions and sentinels of truth that you're supposed to. You can't do it unless you love him. It is the first and great of all the commandments, the greatest of all the commandments, the first commandment. You need to decide tonight whether you're on a course that's committed to the idea that you really do love God. You really do love the Savior. And if you do, and I know you do, and I pray you do, and we'll all do this together, and we'll all march into the future together, but when you do, and when you say that, and when you believe that, then your call is to feed his sheep forever.